All right. Good morning. Good morning. You are now live with episode 11 with Mondays with Coach Rice. Yes, we are live. Happy Monday. This is episode 11, Mondays with Coach Rice. This is your professional certified life and health coach and trained mental health counselor. I am here today. I have a special guest today. I'm excited about it. His name is Mr. Frank Westry. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He's a master AP literature teacher at IDEA, a husband, a father, a man of God, and also, I'm proud to say, my very own son joining me today on my podcast.
Man,
welcome.
I'm so excited to be here with you today. You know, I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna be on the Coach Rice platform. I'm in the studio. It's beautiful here today. So I'm super excited. And I just want to say just how proud I am of you, Mom. You've really been doing some great things on here. I tune in on Monday, and Mondays are tough. We're trying to get the week going. We're thinking about what we had to deal with the week before. But hearing this podcast, the way that you've talked about certain subjects really pushes me through the week. And just the proximity that I have to you, I see you walk these things out. And before we start, I just want to say I've seen Mondays with Coach Rice every day when I was growing up. I mean, the stuff you talked about, you've always been available to our family to talk about these subjects when it comes to bettering ourselves, the importance of mental health. This is amazing, and I'm so proud of you. I wouldn't want to be. I'm the first guest, right?
You the first.
Okay, hold on. So this could be amazing, or this could be okay. We just gonna grow from here. but no. Seriously, I am so excited to be here. This is gonna be an amazing show. So grateful and honored that you would have me on here. So,
man. I'm grateful to have you. Such a well-rounded. You really grown to be a well-rounded young man, and what made us do this, what made me invite him to the show is we were just dialoguing, just regular dialoguing about this subject, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, you have too many nuggets. I have to have you on my show to really bring this out. You know, I like to bring out the best in people, and I thought this was a platform to be able to do that with you, because we had a great dialogue about this. It may not come out the same way we had the dialogue, but we gonna give it a shot. Basically, you know, our subject today is the danger of comparison. I've always tried to continue to help, you know, in this area, because comparison is human behavior that's ingrained in us, right? And so even from a young age, you learn and you taught how to compare yourself to to other people academically, professionally, socially, and, you know, even physically, you know. Mm-hmm. So it can be used, fueled as motivation, but it also can be detrimental to our mental health and overall well-being. What is your thoughts on that?
Man, too many. So I think I've heard it said this way: we compare products. We shouldn't be comparing people, right? Mm-hmm. So when we think about it, I can't compare myself to you because I haven't had the starting point that you've had.
You got that right.
So you've started with more than I have. I can't be like, I need to be where you are immediately.
Right.
Because I'm a teacher, and when I first started, man, it was so hard. But I remember being so down watching the other teachers that's been doing it 10 plus years.
Okay.
And they're well seasoned in their careers. They don't have to work as hard on lessons. They know how to engage kids. And the biggest thing, I was like, I heard TD Jakes say, I can't compare my seed to someone else's tree.
Ooh.
So, and when I heard it, it took me a few days to like, what is he talking about? But we got to be careful. I think I don't want to talk about too much in one moment, but I think we just got to be careful because it robs us of peace and the assignment that God has us on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because if I'm comparing where I am to you, I'm not focused on where God wants me to be.
Yeah. Because
I'm distracted from where I think I should be.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna let you know where you want to start, because this is speaking to me.
It speaks to me dearly in certain ways too. So I'm just gonna give you guys a little preview of how this episode. We're gonna walk through this episode. So basically, we're gonna talk about comparison in the context of, number one, comparing ourselves to one another, which is he brought up a little bit about comparing our old relationships to one another, comparing seasons that we have been in to one another, and tips on how to stop comparing. That's how we're gonna do. But we're gonna start off with what you kind of piggyback on what you had said, comparing ourselves to one another. I've learned to do that growing up, and I thought it was something that it was supposed to be done. It's like it was easy to do because it put me in automatic pilot to actually do it. It was easy to do because I saw it being mirrored in my life, but I also saw the downward spiral it took me in with self-doubt.
Okay.
With my diminishing my self-esteem. I saw that. I saw how it can distract you from your purpose.
Yep.
Comparing. I remember when especially when you have so many siblings like I do, and I'm the youngest, so it's like my dad was like, you need to be a secretary like your sister. And I tried it. But I knew in my gut that ain't what I wanted. But I tried it because he told me to, and I was actually comparing myself to them because they did look successful in that.
Right. Ooh.
But you know what I'm saying? But that was their journey. I was not successful. I went to a typing class, started the ASDF JKL semi, and I was done. I walked out. I was done. I was like, this ain't me. And I knew it, but it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Because I didn't, because I was, and it also brought shame to my situation because I felt like, dang, I can't satisfy my dad.
Man, you know what? Thank you for sharing that, and just, man, what I was thinking is, we really want to be careful when it comes to how us as parents, what we tell our kids. And we may not be telling them that this is your road to success, but us not seeing their individuality.
Exactly.
And accepting it, honoring it, can make it a situation where they're trying to figure out why they can't fit into this mold of what they were told. And they may not have told you that out of ill intent. Right. This, when we think about things that are told to us, it's in the context of the time period.
Yes.
What's that during that time? And I'm not saying that you old, Mom, but during that time, it probably was a situation where it's like, I've seen my kids do well with this path.
Right.
But we can't nail you down to that because you are a totally different person. But I do want to say, out of all of that, I want to applaud you because you sound like you've went through this journey of self-awareness. A lot of people are still operating out of what they were told. They don't know themselves well enough to reflect and to be like, you know what? This is not me. This is
Right.
not who God created me to be. So imagine doing that for decades. You experienced it, but you were able to get out of it.
Right. And it was funny as a parent, you know, you're a parent yourself, but as a parent, I never forget you said, I think I'm going to be a teacher. And I was like, what?
Man.
all I can think about was, why you want to do that? I ain't tell you that, but
Right.
because I was thinking to myself, why you want, what? A teacher? Wait a minute, hold up. I wanted him to, he played basketball good. I thought he was going to do that.
Man, I was
but
not
I never
going to
ever-
be a hooper. Ladies and gentlemen. Nah.
But I did actually think these are the things I thought, but I had to think about what it took me through.
Right.
And I said, no, if this is the path he chose, I don't understand it, and I don't have to understand it, but I'm gonna support him 100% in it. Never would have thought you would be where you at now in it, and you, the gifting that you have in it is so deep. I never thought God had called you to that area, but and I never thought you would be enjoying the way you enjoy learning the way you do. I didn't see those things when you were a kid. I didn't quite see it, and I think that because we're in the same household, I didn't see it until it was actually explored.
Yeah, and you know what? Just to talk about that, I feel like I'm privileged to say you allow me the space to grow. You didn't hover over me with expectations.
Right.
You gave me that space, even to mess up, you've empowered me to find myself. Even moments when I was like, I don't know, Mom, like I'm scared. You empowered me to find myself, and I'm great. My family, they've uplifted me. They've seen the things that God has blessed me with, and they were able to affirm those things. So I am privileged with that. I don't really know too much of what it's like for someone to expect me to be something. But I guess for the sake of comparison, like, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because when I think of this subject, I think about when I was a kid. I want to go back and let me know if I'm off track, but I remember when there were moments when I'm like, man, why do I have to go to bed at a certain time? Why do they get to play outside all day? Why can't I do what they're doing? They look like they're having fun. Their parents don't get on them about, being out too late. Their parents don't even expect them to go to church. Or it's like, man, why do I have, I'm looking at my life thinking like, man, why do I have to follow all these rules and expectations? So what are your thoughts on that? Is that in the mode of comparison as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you're comparing yourself to a whole different family dynamic.
Okay.
And purpose. So when I'm taking you to church, I'm really putting structure in.
Okay.
But it's really based off of how God is leading me.
Right.
Because there's purpose that it's not just about me. It's purpose in my life, but it's purpose in everyone's life. But God had placed you under my management.
Right.
He wanted me, okay, I'm giving you this whole person to manage. So, and he's training me how to do that. I'm not, it seemed like at the moment that I'm doing it on my own, but I'm really not. He's giving me, but the Holy Spirit is guiding me.
Wow.
And I'm not even knowing it because it's part of your destiny, your journey, your uniqueness.
Okay.
So you have to foster that in a way that I didn't even know I was fostering. Like when I used to be go in a room and read your books.
Right.
I never knew I was fostering you in a way that you are today. You love reading.
Yes.
Love reading, like love it. And so, but those were things that I was led to do, unaware of being led to do.
Right.
And so if you comparing yourself to the kids outside, you don't know their household dynamic.
Man.
Your household dynamic is created for your destiny.
Hold on now. This is Coach Rice kicking in. Hold on. You need to say that again. Whoa.
You know, the
It's
Holy Spirit got you there.
created for your
it's created for your destiny. Your
Wow.
journey, theirs is created for their destiny, and we don't know what that looks like in their
Wow.
future. But God has created you for a purpose, and He chose me to manage that.
Okay.
Just like He chose them to manage theirs. I had a very unstructured life.
Okay.
Like, I didn't have a bedtime. And I didn't raise you to have a bedtime because I didn't have a bedtime.
Right.
I just married a guy that was more structured.
Okay.
And he helped me to implement this.
I like that.
And so God placed me and him together for the purpose of raising you for your destiny.
I love it. And so a thought comes to mind. We're talking about comparison.
Yes.
The Bible talks about us being set apart.
Ooh.
So if we're comparing ourselves, we're trying to be apart.
Mm-hmm.
But we really need to be a contrast in some, well, not, and what's, this is my question.
Well, you got me stirring up.
What's the tension between the Bible tells me I'm supposed to be set apart.
Right.
I am not like you, but
Right.
it doesn't mean I'm better than you.
You got that
What's
right.
what's the tension of how we live that out when it comes to
So set apart, that's a good question. I'm finna answer. No, I'm just kidding. So set apart is really not I'm better than you.
Okay.
It's when you enter a room, you don't enter a room like someone in the room.
Right.
You enter the room with your unique character,
Yep.
with your unique gifts. You don't have to be like anybody when you enter the room. You want to be set apart in a way that I want to bring the attributes of God into the room.
Okay.
I want to bring the gifts that God blessed me with. And so when you're in a room with other people, you never think of yourself as better.
Right.
But you want to know, the one thing you want to do when you enter the room is, who is this person I'm in front of?
Right.
And you know you will know you will know you have your unique attributes.
Yep.
Like me, when I enter the room, I have a very charismatic personality.
Yes.
But I'm fun, I'm funny. But I also have to depending on which room I'm entering. Set apart means I'm set apart for His purpose.
Yep.
So if I'm entering a room and I'm in a room with Christians, like people who in that community, I'm going to enter the room in a posture of, how can I edify the body?
Okay. Very purposeful.
Or also open to the body edifying me.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, if I enter a room with people who don't know God, my posture is, how do I dialogue with them in a way, Lord, give me an opportunity
Right.
to introduce salvation to their lives,
Yep.
or encouragement,
Yep.
or let me be the source of love in the context of being in a room with unbelievers.
Yep.
Now, if I'm in a room with people but I don't know what they believe, I come in with the same posture
Right.
as if I'm entering a room with unbelievers, because I don't know what the audience is going to look like.
Yep.
So it's really, that's how, if you do that it's a mode of service is what you coming in the room with.
Okay.
And that's how you bring your uniqueness. Now, if I compare myself and say, I walk in the room with unbelievers, I need to blend in, so I need to be like them. Now I'm out of sync. I'm out of sync with not just them, I'm out of sync with myself.
Yep.
Number one, I got a depraved carnal nature.
Mm.
So if I enter the room with unbelievers and I don't enter in as my authentic self, I
Yep.
can get grafted in
Yep.
and be like them. And I have a part of me that's like them in me. The Holy Spirit just got it on restraining order.
Okay.
But if I enter the room like that, I'm going to be engrafted in, and I'm going to be like them, act like them, drink like them. I might
Okay.
even pick up a marijuana or
Okay, we
something.
going there.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? Because I'm trying to fit in.
Right.
Fit into a shoe that don't match, that don't fit my foot.
Yep.
It's gonna be
I
tight.
love that. A shoe that doesn't
Yeah,
fit
shoe
my
don't
foot.
it don't fit my foot. It changes. It distracts me in my journey and everything. So when you say set apart, you set apart for God's purpose. So you got to
Yep.
know what your character attributes are, but you can't know that if you compare it.
Man, you know, I love. You
I'm
know
sorry, I
what?
went on a tangent.
No. These conversations are so good. I'm laughing to myself because when I talk to you, you've been a seasoned Christian for a while. So I'm getting edifying the body. I'm getting all these King James versions of these versions. You know, now we got so many other versions from my generation. But I have another question because we heating up. We
Okay,
heating up.
we not.
So how do you deal with, let's say, I'm 32.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you deal with
You really telling my age? No, I'm
Some-
just kidding.
how do you deal with somebody in their young in their careers? I mean, this may apply to other people as well, but I want to be like this person. I see how they speak. I see how they do their work. I feel so far from performing at this level.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen someone?
Oh goodness, I was
You're
that
like, man,
person.
they are so good.
Yeah.
Like, how do we celebrate, honor that they are proficient without us feeling insufficient?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I
I
like that. I like
Thank
that.
you, Holy Spirit. I don't have that written down, y'all. I like that.
Oh my God, that's like a loaded question, but okay. So I had to, Tony Robbins. He is the famous life coach. He good too. I'm not gonna lie. That's my boy. I really love his approach, and I'll never forget me saying, I don't think I'm gonna go the life coaching route because he is too good. I never fit that. I'll never be like that. So
Okay.
therefore, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
But as I started doing the work on myself, I realized I don't want to be Tony Robbins because Tony Robbins has a platform that God placed him in.
Yep.
But he had a walk in his life that I never touched.
Yes. Very powerful story.
And I can't be him. And in order to be him, I got to go through what he went through.
Yep.
Not willing to do that. So I have my own hurdles in life that God allowed me to go through.
Yep.
That's the position he placed me in for a certain platform and a certain people. I can't help the world, but I can help a portion of the world
Right.
because I'm not all knowing and I'm not God.
Yep.
But there's a platform and a uniqueness that's within me that he put me in place of that I can handle.
Yep.
And so when I get a person who come to me and say, I want to be in this field, but I want to be like this person, I want to know, who are you?
Yes.
If you don't know who you are, then I see why you can say that. I see why you're saying that. What's unique about you? Because you can't be this person. Because you can't walk in someone else's shoes. The journey is too well defined.
Man.
And you don't know what they had to go through to get there.
Yeah, well, I was reading the scripture, came to mind when the disciples, they were asking Jesus, when basically when they die, they, can we sit where you are?
Right.
And his response was just like, are you going to drink from the bitter cup?
Yes.
Like, deal with what I've dealt with. And I was like, oh,
man, that's powerful.
I don't know if I'm going to sit there. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Put me in the back. Just make sure I get to heaven. No, I'm just...
Right.
But it's deep. You know what? The other scripture I wanted to talk to you about, and I know we're on this for a while, 'cause this was good.
Yeah, the relationship. With comparing yourself to other people is real deep.
So in Mark, Jesus was observing people giving offering.
Yeah.
These rich people were giving an offering,
Mm-hmm.
and this poor widow, I think she was a widow, poor lady, she gave what she had. And I'm sure, it doesn't say it, but I'm sure, well, she gave like a couple coins. I'm sure it was not at the magnitude of these people who gave. But Jesus told the disciples how he honors what she gave.
Right.
She gave more than them to him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the more we think about, when we talk about set apart, the more we think about what Jesus talks about, which he talks about the kingdom and how that works, is so foreign to what we see. We think this person gave 10,000, this person gave this, and Jesus would be like, this person gave their last $5, they gave more.
Mm-hmm. Because
it's like, wow, what? So I think we got to realize our heart posture, our hearts, when it comes to comparing, our hearts shouldn't be set on that. It was set on an individual journey of, are you giving something that's going to cost you? Or is this convenient?
Yeah.
Right? That's a different situation from like looking at amounts
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So this is good. Man.
Yeah. Comparing yourself to other people puts us in a position to maybe perceive ourselves less than.
Yep.
And we don't want to compare ourselves with other people with how much money they have, their status. It devalues your own personal worth, and it really takes you away from your purpose, especially if you don't really watch, like if you're really into it, like, you can compare yourself to, I want to be like Oprah or all of these people, because you see them on TV. You don't see what they go through on the background.
Yep.
No one knows. Never judge a book by the cover, because you don't know what's inside.
Okay.
So you have to really be careful on comparing yourself to other people. But when you find joy in finding out who you are, and your uniqueness, your flaws, your insecurities, all of these things you get to find out, and you get to fix what you want to fix. Imagine that. That's what you want to really focus on, is who am I?
Yep.
And what is my purpose? What am I good at? And we're going to talk more about that. But I want to talk about, what do you think about comparing other relationships? And it can be, old relationships within the context of boyfriend, girlfriend, or friends, or whatever.
Man, this could be I think it could be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So if first of all, relationships are so important, right? But we can't really compare different relationships. I think if it's in the context of a dating relationship, we are there's so much to talk about, because we're going to compare what we've seen modeled as a relationship from our parents. Ooh. We may expect our partners to become our parents. Ooh. This is how my mom and dad did it, so what are you doing? Get it together. But we may do that.
That is so true.
We also, if you're comparing different partners, man, that kind of shows, maybe you didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you haven't grieved that relationship is over. if you're trying to compare it to the current, or I don't know if you're talking about it from the standpoint of
you right on point.
This is me and my wife. We need to be like so and so and his wife.
Ooh, that's a whole another one.
Or it can feel judgy, right? Like so, I can compare like, man, we ain't as bad as them, or you know what I'm saying? Like, man, we ain't going through that,
Right?
Or, right? Like,
Thank God we ain't going through that, so we ain't got to look at our junk.
She got 3, 4, 5 baby mamas. I mean, baby daddies. What's going on? And you know what? That's wrong. And I think everybody is unique, and we got to celebrate with that new relationship is going to become new challenges. And what my wife told me is that, like, when we think about drastic changes, whether you're moving, going to another partner, you're bringing yourself.
Yep.
Whatever you were struggling with then, it's not like I'm gonna get someone new and it's just gonna disappear.
Right.
You're still gonna bring yourself into that relationship.
Yep.
Unless you've healed and grieved and worked on that journey of turning from those things, but it's not gonna happen from I just need a new wife.
Right. You
right?
better say it.
And then I'm gonna be able to be the man that God's called me to be. I don't think it works like that.
No,
but
it don't.
What standpoint do you want to talk about it from? Because there's so many.
It's
ways.
so many. Yeah, you. Unreal.
Sorry, I'm throwing out too much.
No, this is good. This is real good. It's the unrealistic expectations, like you said, that we need to. Let's talk about it from like you need to be like my mom,
right?
Or we need our relationship to look like my parents.
Yes,
that's taken away from how your relationship's supposed to be.
Man,
because your relationship is set up again for purpose. And you miss that because you're trying to be like mom and dad. But you don't know what mom and dad had to go through.
Yes.
And you don't know what their journey was to get them where they are.
Yep.
I can't mirror my marriage like another marriage. Because it's uniquely set up. I have a whole unique person that I'm dealing with. And I'm unique. And together, how do we put that together? And we got to figure that out. Because we're nothing like my parents.
You know what? And just to be honest, I had to wrestle with that myself when it came to my wife and I. When we decided that we were gonna go into that she was gonna stay at home with our kids, one income home. I was like, hold on, I'm not used to that. It took but like you said, it was purposeful. But I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. I had to wrestle with it. My mom always worked, right? My mom did everything. Work, cook, clean, took care of us. And I was unknowingly pushing that on my wife. And I had to step back. But it didn't allow me to celebrate who she was and her strengths when you talked about like the women in that previous episode,
right?
And honoring and loving them for the strength that they have. But I'd never seen that before. I had my fears about it.
Okay. And
I was like, I've seen something that worked with my mom working. I don't know how this is gonna work. Right. And culture tells us about the economy, job security, being prepared in some ways to where we don't realize when God is speaking to us about embracing something that we haven't seen, because we're comparing it to what we think is a successful relationship.
Wow.
Right? We've already played it out in our heads.
Right.
If it's not like this, the picture that I see, then it's a problem. But I honestly did. I had to wrestle with it, and it taught me so much. I don't regret the wrestle, but I do remember the struggle of embracing like, man, this is different.
Yeah. And anytime you walk into the unknown, you automatically go, you know, fear kick in, anxiety, all of these things kick in, but you step back and go, wait a minute. Let me see how this gonna pan out. And you start to lean on the Lord with it because you don't understand it. And you start to see the uniqueness of the journey, but you also see a lot in the journey, like how God is. You start to experience him as different attributes, like Jehovah Jireh, my provider. You start to see these things like, I'm really actually walking in this, and it's working.
Yep.
And it's working because of this is our journey, and your journey is different from mine, and it's working for you. You guys are really great at it. It's working for you guys.
Took fine tuning and prayer and fasting.
But you guys work very well at it, and when you really compare yourself, I've experienced comparing. This is a deep one. Comparing an old relationship with the new one.
Okay, talk to us.
So it's like I broke up with this person.
Okay.
They didn't work out.
Right.
I never grieved, like you mentioned.
Man.
The relationship. Grieving a relationship is number one, accepting it's over, but also finding out what didn't work.
Yep.
And who was I in that relationship?
Yep.
Who am I without the relationship? Why didn't it work? If you don't take the time to do that, you start comparing these, and people wonder, why am I picking from the same tree?
Wow.
Because you're looking for the same attributes. Because you never dealt with the one. You don't know which ones didn't work.
Wow. Why am I picking from the same tree?
You picking from the same tree. And they all look identical. And you like, I keep picking. Then I keep picking the same thing, same person. You don't even think about it. I keep thinking the same person. You say, man, you start feeling inadequate. Man, he ain't treat me right. You start to get in this victim mentality road.
Man.
And so it's real deep. It goes deep. I ain't gonna go that deep because that's a whole nother show.
But I think that's why we need healthy community. Because sometimes we're not even aware of these patterns. Because you're talking about patterns. It takes somebody that you trust that could lay that on you.
Yeah.
Or for you to be vulnerable enough to share what you're dealing with so that somebody can speak into it. But if we hide it, we're just stuck in these same patterns.
Yeah, we stuck in the same patterns. So we have to really grieve, like you said, grieve the relationship. It's purposeful because a loss is a loss. Anytime you take any loss, you got to take the time out to grieve. And you have to go, and sometimes you're going to go through those stages of grief that you really not aware. You go through them in relationships that break up. And so you have to figure out what's going on in this relationship where it's not working.
Yep.
What didn't work? You really have to look at that because if you don't look at that, you're gonna miss your strengths. You're gonna the challenges that you have. You're gonna miss all of these things that lay out who you are.
Yep.
As a person, you miss all of that information if you don't process that journey.
Yep.
Don't be scared to process a breakup because it is a journey. It's part of your life journey. It's part of what makes you what you are today.
Yes.
You don't want to miss that part. So the relationship part is so deep. I'm not gonna go that deep into it like that, but we're gonna move into the comparing of the seasons.
Man, this is a good one.
This is a good one for me, and you probably, I know we was dialoguing about it, but what do you think about, when you think about comparing of seasons, what comes to your mind?
I remember we were talking about this. So I look at it from the angle of like, I remember I told you, I think it's in the book of Numbers in the Bible. And when I read it, I was confused. But I was like, you know what? This is what our lives can look like. So when the children of Israel, they were walking with Moses, and you know, Moses had to deal with a lot. So as they were walking through the journey, I believe they were going, you know, God was always like, go to the land and I will show you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they had to take over that land. So when they got there, they were scoping the land. I think of Canaan, maybe. I don't know if I got that wrong, but they were scoping out the land. They came back and they were afraid. They were like, there's giants there. And they were afraid. So when they came back, they cried to Moses, like, we need to go back to Egypt. Right? Like, and when you think about that, it's like, wow, that's bondage.
Right. Exactly.
So I think if I can use the metaphor here, when we're in a new season and we have giants that we need to fight, whatever that is for you, we can want to go back even if it's dysfunctional.
Even if it's dysfunctional, yeah.
Even if it doesn't serve us. So when we think about it, we can't really, I don't know what extent we can compare seasons. Stuff that's good in one season can work against you in another season.
Right.
Right? So I remember when, I guess, real life application. I remember moving to San Antonio.
Yeah.
And it was so new for me trying to get to know the culture.
Right.
Getting familiar with the people. And it's not a judgy thing. I think it's just naturally the bumps of going to a new place.
Right.
I'm from Chicago, so anytime I was in Chicago, community was something I didn't really have to work at or form because we had such a tight-knit family.
Right, right.
I really didn't understand the process of finding people that could be friends, right? Family was so close-knit. So when I came here, I wanted to feel that sense of community during holidays.
Right. It's different.
During, Easter, we just had Easter, had a great time. And so this season of moving, transitioning, forced me to get to know new types of people. That was my giant.
Right.
Go get to know people. Find a church home. Find community. Find people you can hang out with.
Right.
And I didn't want to fight that giant. So I isolated a little bit. This isn't me. These aren't my type of people, which is ignorant.
Right.
Right? You don't know.
You don't know what you can learn.
This is not you now, but this is what you can grow into. So I think when we're comparing to come back, we're comparing seasons, what God is doing to me and through me here could have never been done where I'm from, because I never would have been pushed in this way.
Right.
So when you look at different seasons, I can't be like, I need to party like I was 20. You're not 20 anymore.
Right.
But are we okay with that?
Right.
Because even your body can't even handle that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
The level of accountability that I have because I have kids, I can't go back.
Wow.
There's only forward. If I go back, when I go back, it won't be the same.
Right.
That's the thing. The Bible says, don't crave the good old days.
Yeah.
See, you got the King James, I got some of the NLT. But the thing is we can't. It's not going to be the same. If you go back,
yeah.
This is a different time. The iPhone 1 was great for that time. The iPhone 1 now looks different in this season.
Right.
We can't we need to go back to when we had the iPhone 1. Right? Like this, and you could.
It would just look
But it's going to limit you from the growth. And I think we got to be aware of, even in those uncomfortable seasons, what is God doing with me here? Right? My wife had to help me. God, look at what God is doing here. This is uncomfortable, but look at what he's doing. Versus, I'm uncomfortable, I'm going back.
Man.
Because that was my reaction.
Woo.
I got to go back. I'm the children, even if it's slavery.
Right. Yes. I mean, you better.
I'm used
stop.
to. At least I'm used to that giant.
Exactly.
This new giant. But the bigger picture was, the children of Israel, they're doing something that's beyond them. This is beyond them. We're thinking about the discomfort right now that they're walking with Moses, but they're about to change something that's about to change their children, their children's children. They're about to go into a promised land that's not just for them. So us here, we don't know what God is doing with us here in the city of San Antonio. That's going to impact our kids, grandkids, not just me. But if it's so focused on the self and my discomfort, how do I even step into anything new that God is doing? But go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, you just dropped the mic. I'm done.
Hey,
because I kid you not, seasons is so many. It's so much in this, because in my personal life, aging is a season, and when you get up in, like, I'm 56 years old, so I want the energy I had when I was 30. And when I was even in my weight loss journey, that's a big one for me, because in my weight loss journey, I was in a season where I lost, went from 206 to like 150. And life starts to happen as you continue to progress. That's why they call weight loss a journey. Because it can go up, it can go down, it can stay the same. And so in the season that I'm in currently, I'm focused on building. And focusing on building, you're not focused on, I still eat healthy, I still go to the gym, but you're not so focused on this weight loss thing, because it changes the dynamic of your workout. Sometimes seasons change the dynamic of how you flowed.
Yes.
I'm trying to flow. I want to flow the same way I flowed then. But it's gonna cost me in this season to do that, because things don't look the same. Number one, I live on land. Number two, I have travel. I have a business located in the central part of San Antonio, and so I commute. This season in my life, I can't do the same things I did in that season, so it caused me to gain some weight. But I'm still healthy.
I like that.
You see what I'm saying? I'm still at the size I want to be. But I ain't gonna lie, I went through a period where I'm like, I want to be that. I want to get back there, but I lost muscle. I didn't have the muscle I have now, because I'm in the gym lifting weights. So it gave me my season looked very different and confusing. But I can't take that old person that I had then in this season. That old person in that season, that was during COVID. I had time to run. I had time to do all of these different things. I didn't have the influx of this business. I have so many people I'm helping. It just looked different. So if I take myself back there, I would feel inadequate. It would elicit anxiety from it. It did. It was like I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why I'm not doing the same thing? I'm in a different season. Even in the growth of my business, I can't take the old Martha into this new growth
update.
Because guess what? This new growth caused me to have to grow in other areas.
You got to download the new update.
Exactly. You got it. It's Martha 2.0 went to Martha 8.0.
Update your phone, people.
Right. No, but I can't have the same expectations. So I have to take a step back and say, okay, how do I approach this next season? Instead of saying, I need to go back to comfort zone where it's easy, but but you can't grow there. You miss your purpose if you want to go back. God is like, we gotta push. I'm pushing the envelope. Because I called you to a purpose. I called you for this, and you can't stay the same. Just think, if you're not growing, you don't feel like you living.
Yes. Ooh. Yes.
You You don't feel motivated. You don't
Yep.
feel. That's what causes all of these. That's what causes depression. Staying stagnant, staying in an old position you shouldn't be in.
Yep.
Not moving forward. All of these things causes so much anxiety, and so it really brings a lot of challenge to your life when you're dealing with these things, and you miss opportunities, you miss lessons, you miss everything. The
Yep.
challenges, like you said, the challenges is big, but these seasons, they come in different formats.
Yep.
And that's why it's important for us to understand that when you in a different season, figure out how you're supposed to function in that season
Yep.
and embrace it. Be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yep.
That's your signal that you growing,
Yep.
you know? So that's what I'm saying. But people compare themselves for, number of reasons. It could be to point out flaws,
Yep.
to make themselves feel good, or either to get reassurance for themselves, for doing well. People want to be validated,
Yeah.
and you don't want to work off of that context. You want to make sure that you really operate in your own uniqueness, because it's a scripture that comes to mind in Galatians where it talks about be careful. It reads exactly like this in the New Living translation that you talked about. It say be careful. Pay careful attention to your own work. You hear that?
I like
Your
that.
own work. For then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done. I want to step into, I want to step before God. He go, good, well done, my good and faithful servant. No, but anyway, and it say you won't need to compare yourself to others, to anyone else. That's why I like the Bible. Anything you want going through it, take you there. But basically, he's saying pay attention to your own work. Get your job done, well done. Do your best. Do all what I called you to do, and you don't have to compare yourself to some people.
Yep.
People. Period. You don't
Yep.
have to compare yourself. But we're gonna give some tips on how to stop comparing.
Yep.
Even though we kind of talked a little bit about
Man.
focus on your own journey. That's number one. Focus on your own journey. I love the journey I'm on. It's up and down. It's unique. It's fun. I'm learning in the journey. I'm learning a lot about myself. I don't know about you. How do you feel about focusing on your own journey?
Man, it's important because you're blinded by the assignment if you're comparing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that.
And then you got to set realistic goals. Come on now.
Yep.
You really do. So you really have to figure out, number one, what do you want?
Yep.
What do you feel do research on the journey you're on, not comparing to other people, but comparing like, what do I need to research? What areas do I need to grow in? What information am I missing in this particular new journey? Because when you step into the journey uncomfortable, it's an indication also that you need more information.
Yep.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
When you said realistic goals,
Mm-hmm.
man, so I think of understanding just where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, not trying to compare it to where someone else is.
Right.
Right? Like not trying to, realistically, I'm not delusional.
Right.
Right? This is what's going on with me. I think that's important as well. And this is where I'm going.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah. And then practice gratitude is big, because gratitude lets you know you're grateful for what God blessed you with. You're grateful for I'm so grateful for the gift He gave me, and I'm so grateful for the mistakes I've made in my life. I'm grateful how He got me out of the stuff I was in, and you just want to show gratitude, towards what He has done.
Man, that's huge. And I think that'll take you out of comparing.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're thankful for what God has done for you.
And being thankful changes your mood, because you can't be sad and thankful at the same time. And you don't want to use social media as your gauge. Half the stuff on social media is not all the way real. You don't have the whole story. Like I I may put a picture up of me having fun or eating food. You ain't seen how I got there.
Yep.
The argument I had before I got on there. No, you don't see those things.
True.
You know, and you don't want to gauge social media as your standard.
Yep.
Your standard should be something way more truthful, like the Bible.
Yep.
Facts. You don't want to definitely do that because most people put their best on social media. Because I ain't gonna lie, I don't want you to see me, waking up with sleep in my eye. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that people don't want you to see them like that. That's real.
Yeah.
Social media has been it's a magnet for comparison.
Yes.
And it's really terrible because it makes people walk away feeling like, man, I wish I could be there, or I wish I could be that person.
Yep.
No, you don't know what's going on for real. You don't know what's going on in their life. They're not showing the whole picture. And I don't think it's a platform where you should show lay out your dirty laundry anyway.
Man,
that's a whole nother story. So I could do a social media thing, and that's a whole
episode.
That's a new episode. But also, one thing we do not do, and I think it's the best thing to do, we gear toward the negative, but we never celebrate our strengths. We have to celebrate our strengths because it gives us a chance to know, okay, I'm really good in this. This is great. Thank you, Lord, for giving me this. But we don't celebrate. We graze over them. Like somebody can tell you something negative and you'll ruminate.
Oh yeah.
All day, all week, you take it in and you soak in it and everything. You sulk in it and everything. But the minute somebody tell you something, a positive feedback, you walk away and you go, okay. We don't celebrate.
Right.
I celebrate every fifth episode. Every fifth episode that I do, I celebrate.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I celebrate because I'm like, hey, I'm still consistent. This is an area I've been trying to work on, and I'm still consistent. But I show up and I celebrate that because that's important.
Don't despise small beginnings.
Exactly. And I celebrate. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm celebrating the journey along the way because I'm like, wow, this is really good. So I celebrate the small things in my life. I celebrate the big things. I've learned to do that because it keeps me grounded.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Keeps me grounded. And big time, focus on your own personal growth.
Yeah. And this could be, I think, for what I do with the kids that I serve, this is tough, but I fight against it all the time, which is there's certain kids who are really strong academically, and there's some that aren't as strong academically in certain areas.
Right.
But there's individual conversation about what their growth looks like.
Right.
Right? I'm clapping for you because you were able to write 2 or 3 pages, but I'm also clapping for so-and-so who was able to write 1 page, but that's because I can't compare
it's their
them,
individual.
but both of y'all need to grow.
Right.
So the tension is like, how can I push you and celebrate your growth? How can I push you and celebrate your growth, no matter what level you're at, instead of expecting people to operate or to function at the same level, and then you just divided this situation where it's like, I'm worthy or not worthy here.
Right.
Right? Like, if I'm not performing at the highest level, am I even accepted? Right? Which could manifest itself into their future of like, academics was never my thing.
Right.
And it's like, that's not true.
That's not true, right?
Right? You just you had a slower road to development in this area.
Okay.
Right? Or you needed some fine tuning in a certain area that would get you to where you need to be. So this is interesting because we're such in a data-driven world.
Yes.
Right? But those numbers aren't our identity.
You get that
It tells
right.
us something. Right? It informs us. But we can't let it be our identity.
Wow, drop the mic again. No. I like that. I like how you put that in perspective of personal growth, because it is that each person is different. I do with my clients. Each person is different, even unique in grief, unique in relationships.
Man.
I don't use the same tactics because they're different.
Yep.
And I have to meet them where they are. And that's the key, is meeting them where they are, because everybody is different. And I don't compare them to my loss.
Wow.
Because, you know, it could be relational, it's different. Personal growth is your personal growth.
Yep.
You got strengths, you got weaknesses. Work on the weaknesses. You get to choose. And so that's the awesome part of focusing on your personal growth. And then you want to surround yourself around people who are supportive, who's helping you grow, that's celebrating you in your growth, that's, you know, that you can do the same for them. But surround yourself around people who like-minded.
Man.
You know, surround yourself around people who's gonna elevate you, not tear you down.
Yep. And this goes back to what I was saying about going to a new place. You have to find them. It's almost like dating.
Yes.
It's like, are you available?
Right.
Can we hang out today?
Yes.
Right? Like, when can we get together? Like, I had to seek them out.
Right.
Like a dating relationship. But I think we do need to question of whether in our relationships, would you tell me the truth?
Right.
Or would you watch me in error?
Yeah.
Right? Like, a lot of relationships that I found now, it's like, yes, I told you how I was feeling and you gave me what I needed to hear. I didn't like it at the time.
Right.
But man.
I love
and they
those
told it in love.
relationships. I
They
love
told it in
those
love,
relationships.
where it was like, maybe you want to think about it this way. And I'm like, I don't want to think about it this way.
Right.
But I was like, man, I really need so-and-so in my life. They cared for me enough to be honest. So
those are the tips we want to, you know, remind you of to do, and understand that, you know, your worth is not determined by how you measure to someone else. Never, ever measure yourself up to someone else. You miss out on so many key elements of yourself. Embrace your uniqueness and your value of who you are and your journey that God has set before you, because that's part of your purpose. That's how you learn your purpose. So I'm going to let Mr. Westry give us some closing comments on this, just to sum this whole, you know, whatever you want to say to close the comments.
Man, I think a couple of key things that we talked about was just self-awareness. Know who you are. Understand you're on a different journey than others. Understand what season you're in.
Yes.
Right? Knowing how he's uniquely designed, how God has uniquely designed you. Finding the right community.
Yes.
We talked about so much, and man, we got to do this again.
Yeah, we got to do this when you have another Monday off.
Man, and I just want to say, you are my people person. So
thank you.
Any issue, question I have about people, I got to go to Coach Rice. Because I know she understands people at a level I'm like, how do you even know that? So I thank you for being that for me. I didn't have to seek that out.
Well,
that was already given to me through parenting. So I know that, man, what's going on with issue at work or issue with trying to connect with people in this way, and you give me the perspective. So thank you so much.
Well, I praise God that he blessed me to be able to do that with you. And it's an honor to hear that, because a prophet is never welcome in their own home.
Okay. I got to come back here.
So
I got to do this
but
again.
I think you did a wonderful job in helping me map this. I mean, really, seriously, it's an honor to have you on the show. You grew up to be a well-rounded young man. I'm proud.
Man.
You know, we are so proud of you. You know, Jeff and I are so proud of you, and so proud of where you can, you know, your journey in life and where you are right now. And I just thank you for coming on my show. It's a privilege. You have really blessed the audience, I'm sure, with so many nuggets and And keep doing what you're doing with your students, because it's showing up. It show up in your, you know, they labeled your title, but God called you for a purpose. And I like the fact that you don't connect the title and hold on to it, but I like the stride that you take to make things better for your students, and how you so passionate about what you do. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for being on the show. Come back. When do it again. You got to come back more often.
call them and tell them to give me a day off.
I know, right? I gotta have you back on the show, but thank you, my first guest, and I just want to say thank you guys for listening. You have been blessed with Coach Rice today and Mr. Westry. You know, her, the seed that came from her. No, no, but just thank you guys for listening, and we're gonna sign off, and just, you know, thank you for everything. So good day, happy Monday. Hope you enjoyed the show. We can't see the comments, but we'll look at it, and thank you for joining us today.